Welcome to day one. So you just graduated from
Florida International University.
So you just graduated from FIU. What were some of the worries that you had as you were leaving FIU?
Well, the main thing was that I was leaving without having a plan after. Like, obviously, I was applying to jobs, but I didn't have anything set in stone. So I always worried, like, what I studied, there's not a high demand for. So I was like, did I study the right thing? Like, I studied it because I knew I was going to like it, but was it going to benefit me in the future? Like, is there always going to be a job for that?
Gotcha.
So that was my, like, not being in the unknown.
So you just had a lot of questions about the future. So most of what you were experiencing as you're graduating college is like what they call anticipatory fear. You're worried about where you're going to work. Was it the right job or career choice? Am I going to make enough money? Were all my sacrifices worth it? So it sounds like there was a lot of doubts.
Exactly.
Okay. And so has there been anything to alleviate those doubts as time went on?
Well, I'm working now, and I was very hopeful.
Okay.
I was very hopeful. My thing is, like, in God's timing.
Okay.
So, yeah, I had to take it day by day, literally. Like, I'd apply to jobs every single day. But there were also points where I was like, I'm getting overwhelmed. And I'm, again, starting to doubt myself when I'm not getting interviews or, you know, like, the number of jobs that I applied to isn't equivalent to how many interviews I've had.
Okay.
So then I start questioning, like, am I experienced enough?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
What was the feeling that you were having as you were... So you're applying to these different jobs. What was the self-talk that you were experiencing during that time? Was there, again, does it go back to self-doubt?
Yeah, that was my main thing. And then I was like, am I going to have to work in something that I don't like because I'm not getting what I want right now in that sense?
And while you were at FIU, like actually in school, were you feeling any of these doubts also, or were you just kind of going through the motions of school?
No, I wasn't, because I was interning, and I thought, like, with interning, I would lead into having a full-time position, but I didn't. So that's, like, when I was doing all that, I was like, I'm working this hard, like, not getting paid during my internship, because at the end, they're going to give me a full-time job, because they need people, but they didn't.
And so what were some of the places that you were interning at? Where were some of those places?
Well, I only interned at FIU.
Oh, okay.
So I was like putting my whole self in that because I wanted to work there eventually full time.
And then from that, so you don't feel like you gave yourself enough options while you were interning?
Looking back, I don't think I gave myself enough options.
Because you made the assumption, oh, they're gonna hire me for sure.
Right.
Okay. And did they interview you?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. Like, there's not even a position open. It's just like, I thought they'd be like, okay, we're gonna bring you in. Like, we're gonna make it a position for you.
It didn't happen.
No.
And how long did you intern for FIU?
3 years.
3 years of interning. Wow.
And I was there at FIU for 3.5 years.
So you knew the system well.
I knew
everything. It should have been an easy transition to just bring you in.
Yep.
I'm sorry that you went through that.
It's okay. I'm here now.
No, that's true. Like you said, I mean, things happen for a reason, but still, that's difficult when you've invested yourself so much over a long period of time, and your sights are just on this one thing,
right?
And then it doesn't go through the way you plan. It's a rude awakening for sure.
It was.
Welcome to adulthood.
A lot of crying.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And did you even ask them, hey, are you guys going to offer me a job?
I did, but they were also going through a new athletic director, so it was like, people are going to get fired, essentially. So they were focusing on other things besides, like, their marketing department and all that stuff. It was like, that wasn't their main focus at the time.
Gotcha. Yeah, the whole infrastructure. If they're hiring a new athletic director,
the first thing they're looking at is coaches.
Yeah, they're looking at coaches. They're looking at all sorts of other things within the structure rather than looking at, are we going to transition Ashley from an intern to an employee?
Right.
How did the university prepare you to transition from being a full-time student to seeking employment?
They didn't. I had to do that on my own. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because, like, I didn't know what to do. My parents, they're both county employees, so it's like, you know, there's a high demand for that, and people are going to want to work in that. But for what I studied, it's more, I don't know how to say it. Like, it's not as easy. It's not as easy. I studied broadcast media with a minor in social media and e-marketing. And my main focus was sports. Yeah.
So it definitely puts you into this very niche category
Yeah.
where, and it's, the weird part is this: your whole life you're told, pursue your dreams, pursue what you're passionate about, pursue what you're passionate about, pursue that. It's gonna have meaning. It's gonna give your life a sense of purpose. But then you do that, and then you hit a wall where you find out that there's no, either compensation might be low, jobs might be minimal or extremely competitive and difficult to get into.
Right.
Yeah, what advice do you give to somebody then, right? Well, what do you tell them?
What people would tell me is like, keep pushing.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna get there, and what's meant for you won't go past you. Which I think it's said a lot, but it really is true.
But how difficult is it for somebody like yourself who's actually experiencing that?
It was very hard.
Yeah.
Some days were different, but the majority of the time I was like struggling with that.
How long ago did you graduate?
In December of 2021.
So you just graduated.
I just graduated and I was freaking out because I did not have a job.
So January rolls around. You're still, how many job applications are you sending out?
I believe it's around 100.
About 100. How many
Yeah.
interviews did you have?
Not that many. Maybe like 10.
That's still a lot, though.
Yeah, but equivalent to 100 applications and stuff like that.
Were the majority, okay, so this is a question. Were all of the applications that you were sending out, did you know anybody who was working in the companies that you were applying or no?
No.
And did you have, did you ever go to those places, or were these all electronic resumes that you were sending out?
They were all through LinkedIn.
All through LinkedIn.
Or Teamwork Online, which is like the sports LinkedIn kind of thing. So
Some of the best advice I could give to students as they're graduating and transitioning into work life is not only sending in a CV, but also either calling that place of employment, finding out who's a manager, who's the boss, getting in contact with those people, letting them know, hey, I applied for this job and let me tell you why. And I know it might sound a little bit crazy, but even showing up to the place of work with your application in hand, dressed for an interview, just to let them see your face and see that you're serious about it. Those little steps take you a long way. Just because you become more visible.
right.
Think about how many, if you sent out 100 resumes, let's say, all through LinkedIn, how many other people did the exact same thing? Now, how many people actually took the time to get dressed, print out their resumes, and show up to these different places?
You have to stand out.
You have to stand out. You have to do something for yourself to help yourself stand out.
Right.
And that's the same advice I would give to all the students. And when I taught at the University of Miami, I would tell them, you got to do something to really differentiate yourself from all the other competitors. Yes, is the market saturated? Yes. There's a lot of competition. Yes. But what can you do to stand out? And I feel that just something as simple as showing up, bringing your resume, coming dressed as if the interview was already being given to you can help a long way. And that's the advice I would give to anybody else that was in your situation. Should have called me.
I know. Wow. It takes time, and not to limit yourself. At least for me, I limited myself, and I was like, I only want to do sports, because I love it. Like, I knew I was never going to get tired of it, but it doesn't mean now, like, I'm doing this, but it doesn't mean that later on in life, I'm not going to do that. So it's like investing in myself and building my resume and doing other things and not limiting myself to just one thing.
Gotcha.
So, like, I could be doing entertainment. I could be doing other things. So, and not to be afraid of trying new things. Like, for me, when I was applying to jobs, I'd see things, like, on the required, like, what you need to do, the requirements and the duties. I'd be like, I don't know how to do that. But in my head, I'm like, I can learn. But it's like, are they willing to give me that chance to learn how to do those things? Like, I've never done a podcast, but here I am.
Yeah, there you go. It's just
We hadn't either.
yeah, I think the main thing to teach a lot of people as they're stepping into the profession is, I think you look at a lot of the people who are maybe a little bit older than you and make the assumption that they know so much more. And a lot of times we're all on the same learning curve. We're all learning it at the same time. The world is rapidly changing. So for us, or for somebody young to assume that these other people are so much more advanced, we're really not.
Yeah.
We're all trying to learn how to use LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it is, Clubhouse, doesn't matter. We're all trying to use it at the same pace. You might come in with more knowledge about a lot of things. And so that's something else I would tell you. If you're stepping into a work environment where they are not welcoming you as a new person with fresh ideas and a fresh perspective on the world around you, then you're probably going to walk into somewhere that you're not going to have satisfaction. Because in order for you to thrive, you have to be able to share your ideas. And if your ideas are being shut down or shut out,
You feel discouraged.
oh my, you're gonna feel completely discouraged. In school, when you're studying, you have multiple exams in one day. What were you doing to help yourself so that you wouldn't burn out?
So I like planning everything out
Okay.
because I can't procrastinate. So I'll do, okay, on Monday, I'm going to do this assignment and take this exam. So I like planning things out so I don't get to that point of being overwhelmed that I have so many things due on a certain day. So that's how I do it. I plan everything out.
Yeah, planning is definitely a good one. I'm trying to think of myself. Like, what did I do when I was in school? I think when I was younger, I would often procrastinate and I would overwhelm myself in the end. And it was like this race. I remember even in middle school waking up like at setting my alarm clock for 5 a.m. to finish writing a paper.
No.
And it's like, why am I doing this to myself again? Why? But then I felt so productive when I was done. I was like, I did it. No, dummy, you could have done that the whole week. It could have been done.
Not necessarily in school because I enjoyed what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I did notice that with my internship, I did overcommit. Like, I wasn't being paid, but I loved going to the like games and stuff like that. So I would go every single weekend or every single game they had, I would go for the full time. So it's like at some point, it's like you have to realize like you have to value your work as well. And it's like they're not paying you, they're not giving you school credit. So it's like at some point you have to like pull back.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's something a lot of people, especially people who are helpers or in the helping careers. So yeah, let me rephrase that. Yeah, oftentimes people who are in helping professions who feel exhausted, burnt out, stressed, overworked, they're not sleeping well, they're depressed. They start becoming irritable as they show up to work, and they don't recognize that they need to pull back. They need to start looking at their lives and say, well, what are some things I should start doing for myself? Because a lot of times people spend a lot of times giving and giving and giving. Moms do this often. They give and they give and they give, and they don't take the time to say, wait, what do I need? Why am I feeling overburdened? Why am I becoming increasingly irritated by my child and snapping back at them? And I think people and I think about my mom. My mom was this person who would just give and give and give. And I wish I could stop her and just say, hey, Mom, think about yourself. Slow down. Take a breath. Escape the house. We're 3 kids. Like, just go find yourself for a little bit. And that way, when you come back, you come with a fresh perspective. You just come renewed.
mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people like that. A lot of people lack the ability to step back. So I think that's huge. Think about all these moms. And I don't know why moms carry this burden with them to want to be this caretaker, to want to be this symbol of love, affection, support, comfort, all these different things. And then nobody's stopping them or slowing them down and saying, hey, what are you doing for yourself? Hey, you've gained 15 pounds in the past year and a half. Hey, you look tired. I know women don't like to hear it, but sometimes you could tell when somebody's hasn't been sleeping well, isn't taking care of themselves. And that's what happens to a lot of kids, especially in our culture. I didn't have that pressure at home, but I know a lot of kids or a lot of students who have the pressure of their parents and what they want them to be or what profession they should choose and what, you know, yo quiero que seas un doctor, yo quiero que seas un ingeniero or whatever. It's like, well, what if I don't have a passion for that? So it's interesting for you because you're pursuing something you're passionate about, and it creates this stress because there's limited availability. But at the same time, it's also an alleviation because how much faster would you burn out if you were in a profession that you didn't want to be in, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm very grateful my parents never put that pressure on me. Even like after graduating, they were like, we understand, like, take that time. And like, I think it's like a privilege that my parents were able to be like, you don't need to get a job right away, but like not to like pick something that I don't like.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, we want you to do something that you love so you're not miserable. And every day you go into work, it's not really work. So.
Yeah, because your parents understand what quality of life is. And they know that you could pursue money. Mm-hmm. You could pursue prestige and all these things that people want to put in your head of what you should be chasing. But then if you're not chasing something that you actually want to do or desire to do, then what the hell are you doing?
It's not going to be fulfilling.
No, it's not going to be fulfilling. You're going to be miserable. Mm-hmm. And I think we've all felt that. I can tell you, when I used to work pediatric ICU, I remember I reached a point where I would wake up to go to work and I felt it right away. Or the day before, I was already anticipating, I got to go back to work tomorrow. It sucks. I'm already tired thinking about the work that I have to do. It's on the way to work. It's already stressful. Nothing has happened yet, but I'm already stressed out about what is to come and what will my day entail. And I'm not going to enjoy it. That's when you know it's time to make a change. When you start feeling overburdened on your way to work, it's probably time for you to start thinking about something else to do. And that's been my life. My life has been transitioning every 3 to 4 years to something different, something new. And I think it's been extremely helpful because, number one, I was dealing with patients. So if I'm not in it with my patients, then it's not going to be good. It's the quality of care I deliver is probably going to be poor. I'm just not going to enjoy my day. Think about it. Societal expectations of my grandfather and what kind of a father he was supposed to be to my dad. And then my dad's societal expectations that he felt over his head are very different than what I feel. My dad never changed a diaper. I was changing diapers from day one. My dad never went anywhere alone with the kids. The day after my daughter was born, I took her back to the hospital to have her bilirubin checked because her bilirubin was high when she was born. And I remember people looking at me saying, why is this young dad? All they would ask me is, where's the mom? Where's the mom? I'm like, it's just me, guys. I'm capable of taking care of this child. So what advice would I give to dads? I mean, the biggest advice is just stay involved with your kids. I think it's really easy to sit back and let the mom do all the work because it feels convenient. But at the same time, all those little actions and interactions that you have with your child, even if it's as simple as changing a diaper or feeding them, that's just building that relationship and that connection to that child. So if you want to have a strong attachment, a secure attachment with your child, then those moments of bonding are so important.
I agree.
Yeah, and then the mom is stripping. Mom, if you are, let me talk to mom. Mom, if you are taking your child away from the father to change the diaper, to feed him, to do all these different things, and you do this day after day, then you're stripping that father from forming a strong connection with the child, and you're stripping him from having a bonding experience with him. I know it feels like a burden. I know it feels like he's tired from work or whatever it is that he's doing, yard work. I don't care, cutting the grass. But you're taking that away from him, and he needs those moments so that relationship could start to build off the bat right away. I don't know why we do that, because we know how important bonding is. Like, that's the reason that there's skin-to-skin contact right when a child is born. Mm-hmm. Even if the mom has a C-section, they put the baby on the mom's chest, just so for both of them to feel that connection, that release of dopamine. But then moms think that they're doing the fathers a favor. I don't know. Get that. Here, have a beer. What's the game? I'm gonna go change a diaper. It doesn't help the kid. It doesn't help the father either.
And I think that also goes into, like, when they grow up, they go to mom for the majority of things, and it's like, well, I should be able to also go to my father,
of course,
for certain things. But it's like, I feel like I don't have that, like, relationship with him, or like confianza to go to him for that, because it's like, from when I was little, it's go to mom.
little mom, little mom. And he probably doesn't realize that either.
Yeah.
He probably has no idea why. He probably wonders sometimes, oh, but how come Ashley doesn't come talk to me?
Right.
But you've been programmed since you were a child that mom is the one that's going to take care of you. You might go to dad for different things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have a financial question. Do you go to your dad?
Yeah.
You see? So it's just that role is very...
The car problem.
Yeah.
Dad.
Do you see? So it's so delineated. And you could probably get a lot from your father for advice on a relationship issue.
Exactly.
Or on a life issue where you continuously you deviate towards mom because that's just what you've learned. So it's recognizing these little things and saying, oh, wait, let me just go talk to dad and see. And he might be like, I don't know, man, just go ask your mom. Why are you bothering me? But again,
at least you tried.
Yeah, it goes back to him being programmed that way, right?
Right.
He might just defer to mom because it's worked for 20-something years, right? Mm-hmm. Why is he going to change now?
Yeah.
And in my house, it was the same. Yeah, my house was the same too. Go to mom, go to mom, go to mom.
Yeah. And I guess it also, like for me, my parents are divorced. So it's like, well, I have to like be able to do that with both because they're not together now, you know? So it's like adjusting and like communicating those things, which I think communication is the best way to like go about that.
Adjusting is the perfect word because that's all these. So there's something called an adjustment disorder. And it's just your inability to adjust to a changing life, and life is changing every day. So sometimes kids suffer an adjustment disorder when they transition from high school and they go away to college. And sometimes that adjustment disorder becomes depression or generalized anxiety disorder because it's not dealt with. Our kids don't have the tools to support to dive in and say, wait, what coping skills can I use now to get over what I'm feeling? And all they're feeling is just difficulty adjusting to the new situation, the new circumstance, the new job, the new profession, the new location, new friends, new network, new responsibilities, all these different things.